So once you've decided how you want to crop your picture, whether your picture should be in black and white, using Channel Mixer, the next set of adjustments that people typically use are the brightness contrast adjustments. So I'm going to pull out my adjustments tab here. And you can see the first three here. If I hover over them, I've got brightness contrast, levels, and curves. Brightness contrast is for noobs. Don't use it. It makes your picture brighter. Takes away the contrast. Here's the old version. That's even worse. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, kids. Next one is the levels. And levels will do all that brightness contrast did and more. And so I have my brightness here. That's the little white triangle down here at the bottom. I can take that and move it in and brighten up my picture. So what this is a graph of the lights and darks in your picture. So if you're looking at the screen, I've got some whites, not a ton of blacks, a lot of dark grays, and not much between the middle gray and white. So I take the white tab and move it up. I can brighten my picture. I can take the black tab and move it in, darken my picture. I can darken and lighten my picture, and that's going to increase the contrast. And I also have the third dial, which is I can control the grays. And so that does everything brightness contrast does and more. The reason I don't like this tool is that if you're going to push it a lot here and really make it brighter, a lot darker, increase the contrast, is everything outside of these black and white tabs is getting thrown away. You're losing that information. So here you can see I've really exaggerated, but I can see all this white blocks, these white shapes. There is no information inside of that. If I turn this all the way up, you can see that nice shading, all those little details, that richness of color, that variation. All that's getting thrown away when I overdo it, cut it out. All this information is getting lost. It's like taking 3/4 of the paper I wrote for English, throwing it in the garbage, and turning in the first and the last page. Not usually the best idea, but it works. The third tool that is my favorite is the curves tool. Here's the curves. What the curves does is it bends the information. So it takes the information and it bends it. So I have the graph, but I can click on this line and I lift it up, and it's going to make all of those grays a little bit lighter. It's not going to throw the information away. It's going to nudge it all up to be a little bit brighter. I can also nudge it all down to make it a little bit darker, and that's going to increase the contrast. That's called an S-curve there, and that is increasing the contrast of my picture in about the best way possible as far as not losing information. So I can darken my picture, I can brighten my picture, or I can increase the contrast. Now if I make a lot of mistakes here, I can click on these little tabs and pull them off the screen, and it's going to erase them. So brighten, darken, increase the contrast, or go wild, I guess.